Hello everybody, this is David. Welcome back to my channel. This video is the next in the series, The Christian Ethic in the 21st Century. And in this video we're going to begin to look at which community do we live in, which world do we live in, how do we engage with the world around us. It's true to say that every person necessarily lives in two worlds. We all live within the four walls of the place that we call home, where our companions are the members of our own family. This is our private world. But equally, a person has to go out of their house and home and has to live in a public world. So we are not only a member of a family, we are a member of a community, a state or country, a world. We are not only a private person, we are public citizens. So, what is our attitude to the world? What is a person's attitude to the world? In fact, it can take more than one form, one idea, one way of looking at it. Firstly, a person can be totally immersed in the world. A person can plunge into it and live as if there is no other world. Their attitude might be, eat, drink and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, as Herrick said. Pile up kisses, as Catullus said, for when this world is done, there remains nothing but a night which knows no ending and a sleep which knows no awakening. But there is another way of being immersed in the world, and it's a more common way than what we've just described. To be immersed in the world, it may not need to mean to be devoted to the pleasures of this world. It need not mean to eat, drink and be merry. There are many people who are immersed in this world in the sense that they are unaware that there is any other. They are not in the least immoral. They are not in the least dedicated to pleasure. They simply go in and out and live decent, respectable lives and never think of any other world or any other life. They are hardly aware that there is any such thing as religion or any such place as the church. Now, they are not in the least hostile to religion. They regard it, if they think of it at all, as something which is quite irrelevant, something of which they have no need at all. Very interesting that, for example, if you're part of a church and you have a witness group, street evangelism in the town centre or the shopping centre or anywhere like that on a regular basis, the crowds just stream past you on the pavements either side, and they never look and they never take a second glance and they never give you a thought. This is what the church is to many people. Perhaps most people now, according to the latest figures, we're now 47% Christian. For the first time ever, we've become below 50%. So to be immersed in the world is not by any means necessarily to be a pleasure lover. Eat, drink and be merry, that sort of thing. It's just that we might be unaware of any other horizon beyond this life that we're in. Now, secondly, a person can take the opposite course and completely renounce this world. Now, there has always been a strain of so-called Christian thought which had no use for this world at all. And there has always been people who quite deliberately and as completely as possible divorced themselves or separated themselves from the world. For example, Thomas A. Kempis said that the greatest saints deliberately avoided the society of men and tried to live to God and with God alone. Now, in the 3rd and 4th centuries, which were the great days of the monks and the hermits, they deliberately turned their backs on life and on people and went to live in the desert, if possible, not even within the sight of another hermit. Now, it's recorded that there was one hermit who for 50 years lived on the top of Mount Sinai. He would not even see travellers and pilgrims who had come specifically to visit him. This is what he said: "The man who is often visited by mortals cannot be visited by angels." Now, there was the famous St. Simeon Stylite, known as the Pillar Man. He tried living in a cave. He tried digging a grave and living in it, with nothing but his head exposed. Finally, in AD 423, he built himself a pillar 6 feet high and began to live on top of it. He never came down. For no less than 37 years he lived on the top of his pillar, which was gradually heightened until it was 60 feet high. Now, he was the first of many pillar saints who chose this way of isolating themselves from the world. They were the people called they were also people called the shut-ins, the inclusi. Now, they chose a niche in some monastery. That's a little like a cabinet, like a small room, and literally got themselves bricked in, leaving only a narrow slip for the bare minimum of food and drink to be passed to them. Now, it's on record that one of them lived like this for 25 years. "Are you alive?" someone asked him through the narrow opening. "I believe," he answered, "that I am dead to the world." So people like these have attempted to live as if the world did not exist. It was in many ways the most selfish way of living, for they were so concerned to save their own souls that they simply isolated themselves from all other people. They were, we could say, so heavenly minded that they were no earthly use. Their renunciation was complete, and it was a caricature and parody of true Christianity. Okay, thirdly then, so then there are people who are immersed in the world, and there are people who in the name of Christianity have renounced the world and have, as far as possible, severed all connection with the world. So from the point of view of the Christian ethic, neither immersion in the world nor isolation from the world can be right. Now, Jesus was quite clear that his men were not of this world, as we read in John chapter 17, verses 14 and 16. So much so were they not of this world that he warned them that the world would hate them as it had hated him, as we read in John chapter 15, verses 18 and 19, and chapter 17, verse 14. So it's clear then that no follower of Jesus can be immersed in the world. Now, on the other hand, Jesus was equally clear that God loved the world, as we read in the book of John chapter 3, verse 16, the most famous verse in the Bible. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him may not perish, but have eternal life." Now, he did not pray that his disciples or even us should be taken out of the world, but that they should be kept from the evil of the world, as we read in John chapter 17, verse 15. And in the end, he deliberately and purposely sent them out into the world, as we read in John chapter 17, verse 15. So I'm going to leave the video here. That's our introduction. Some people are just not aware that there is another world beyond this world. Some people just do not want to engage with this world at all, and they lock themselves away. But what of the true Christian? What should the Christian attitude to the world be? Well, it combines involvement and detachment, and we're going to have a look at that, how that works in the next video. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.